Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here to bring you a deck profile of my dad top 32ing at the National North American Championship. And he's getting ready to show you his spicy deck profile. And yeah, let's get ready.
What's going on, guys? So I got top 32 this weekend at the North American National Championship for Yugioh, and I top 32 with Brandon Despia. And before I get into the deck profile, I do want to shout out to the local card shop, White Dragon Games. So if you're ever in the area in North Carolina and you want to stop by a nice game shop, stop by White Dragon Games and talk to Rob. He's the owner of the shop. So without further ado, let's get right into the deck profile. So for starters, of course, you got to run 3 Fallen Valdez. I feel like 3 is necessary when you're running Brandon Despia. You never want to run out of targets, so 3 always makes me feel safe because 2 I always feel like, well, you'll run out of targets. So 3 Alvaz, then his partner in crime, 3 Aluber. I always love to see this guy. Sucks when he gets imperm sometimes when you don't have a follow-up, but you know, you just got to draw the right cards and play through it. So 3 Aluber. Spicy tech that I was running was 3 Cashier Fenrir. Fenrir put in a lot of work this weekend, especially when I got Sanctified Dragon out on field. What I would oftentimes do is I would go for the Gimmick Puppet line, and I would summon back Fenrir if I had him engraved, and summon back Gimmick Puppet. I actually did that on a lab player 5 times in one duel. I would give him Gimmick Puppet and summon Cashier Fenrir, and then he would have to keep getting rid of Fenrir because Fenrir, you know, every time he activated a monster effect, would banish one of his cards face down, or if I attack, would banish one of his face-up cards face down. So Fenrir put in work this weekend as well. Cartesia, I would say Cartesia as well as Quim. They're probably the best. they're almost the best cards in the deck. These cards make the deck so much better. It allows you to play through so much interaction and have follow up for when you get hand trapped, and you just need to make alternate weird plays. These came in clutch. A number of times I would have like a Fallen Albaz in hand, so I would be able to, you know, get not a full combo, but I would be able to get a good combo with just Fallen Albaz and Cartesia to continue through and start playing. And then also Quim. The fact that she's a Dogmatica card as well as a Despia monster is really huge. Actually made a combo line where I summoned her off of Ad Libitum and then use her effect to send Albion to Shouted Dragon to be able to get Branded Fusion back to hand because I already had Retribution engraved. So it's just a number of things you can do, and these cards allow for more interaction and more follow-up for if you get hand trapped. 1 Serenir, 1 Lubellion. This guy was MVP as well. Oftentimes would go for the Lubellion line when it made sense, so that way I could it would be easier to set up the Gimmick Puppet lock when I went for this line, because you search Branded Loss, and then if you already have a way to Cartesia, whether it be Fusion Deployment or what have you, you know, you start off your play with Branded Fusion, send Lubellion, send Fallen Albaz, then summon Albion, and then once you summon Albion, then you would go and make your Lubellion as well, and then Lubellion would be able to get you into your Mirror Jade, or depending on what you had in your hand, you could also get into your Sanctified Dragon. But then, of course, you follow up, special summon this guy, get your Brandon Loss, and then use Cartesia, go into your Granganole, get another search, most of the time from a courier, so that way you have a negate. So if they try to bestial you or build you, you'll have follow up when you try to bring out your Gimmick Puppet. So these 2 cards were really useful, well, Lubellion in particular, and Serenir. You know, he's also great to be able to send your Retribution to grave or any other branded spells. I would also sometimes send Branded Opening to grave with this guy as well, just for protection with Branded Opening on my fusion monsters from being destroyed. Ad Libitum, this guy, I mean, it was certain situations where Ad Libitum came up, but for the most part, I would side him out game 2, and then if there was a game 3, I would also side him out game 3. So I might cut this card he's a good card when he's good, but when he's not good, he's a brick. So that's the only thing with that Libidum. This is the only brick that I would say is truly not a brick. I had some awful hands this weekend, but whenever I had Dark Magician in my hand, I did not feel I was not disappointed to have him in my hand, because there will always be a line where I would use him, whether it be with Cartesia, Brandon and Red. There's a number of different ways where I would use Dark Magician and make a Dragoon. And I'll get into Dragoon later, but I was so happy to see Dark Magician in a number of my hands, and he put in work allowing me to go into Dragoon. One tragedy, nothing to explain there, just a search for a Luber or for a Libidum. Albion the Shadow Dragon, this guy put in so much work for allowing me to draw cards. If you have them in hand, allow you to draw cards, and also send your Retribution or any other branded spell or trap to the grave, depending on the situation. But the draw cards was really what put in work, because he would oftentimes get me into a piece where I need, or get me into a out that I need in certain situations. Mercurier, of course, that's a monster effect. Starts off with Brandon Loss. And then the MVP who carried me, oh my gosh, this guy carried me through most of my games. I think I give me Puppet Lock about 90% of my opponents today. Not today, but this past weekend. Very easy to do the combo line to get to him. And you can also play through interactions most of the time and still get the Give Me Puppet Lock. So he was definitely MVP. As long as I can play him, I'm going to play him. So yeah, if I didn't have Give Me Puppet, I don't think I would have made it to the top 64. But like I said, Give Me Puppet carried me there, and it's a great card. Doesn't let your opponent play. 3 Branded Fusion. Of course, no explanation needed there. 3 Branded Opening. No explanation needed there. Graveyard Effect is really good as well, protecting your fusion monsters from the destruction. Fusion Deployment, very great card. Get your Fallen Valbaz out, get your Cartesia out. Triple tap this Thrust. This card put in work. Most of the time I would search. If I got Ash going first, my Branded Fusion, I would activate this and search for, where is it at? Search for Fusion Duplication. And then if I was trying to break a board going second, depending on my matchup, like I know in the lab matchup, I need an out to some of his back row. He activated a monster effect, and I searched for Harpies on my turn because my opponent went first. So the rest put in a lot of work this weekend. Very glad I played it. 3 Nadir. This card also put in some work. It wasn't like all that great, but when I saw it, I was happy to see it. And on certain hands, it helped me extend, or it helped me be able to play through hand traps and continue to play and either make Gimmick Puppet Lock or put a good feel on board. I chose a main deck 3 Dark Ruler No More. Not sure if I really need to make main deck this card, to be honest. It did come up maybe 1 or 2 games where it was nice to have, but I feel like I didn't necessarily need it. So moving forward, I might consider putting this in the side and not maining it. Duality put in a lot of work. You would duality off your Granganole and go into Dragoon. In certain situations, you could also dodge imperms. I did that one time with my Libellion. Actually, maybe more than once with my Libellion. When I summoned him, pitch for effect, I would get chain imperm. Then I would chain duality, trip him off, and bring out Albion. So really good card. And also the draw effect is really good as well, because it allows you to put back a light and dark monster from your graveyard into your deck and draw a card. So that's really useful to recycle your resources as well. 1 Foolish Burial, pretty good card. Helps fix your hands depending if you open not the best. This card is nice to see. The same with Gold Sark. I feel like Gold Sark is more useful because you can banish Tragedy or Mercurier, and that allows you to get into different plays than just Foolish, because Foolish is most of the time I'm either going to send of course Tragedy, maybe Albion, or Gimmick Puppet, depending on the situation. So I think Gold Sark, if you're going to cut a card, I would cut the Foolish over the Gold Sark. But I was happy to play them this weekend. Of course, you got to run the one Brandon Red and Brandon Loss. Brandon Loss is absolutely MVP as well. Call by the Grave saved me so many times. I can't tell you how many times my opponent tried to ask me this weekend. And I mean, a lot of them did, don't get me wrong. But for a number of those ashes, you know, I was happy to drop that call by, say, call by. All right, full combo, let's go. So call by, you got to run it. It's a great card. Then the one Retribution, and I already showed you the one Foolish, the one Fusion Duplication. Then we're going to move into the extra deck here. So we have one Lebellion, two Albion, no explanation needed. We also have two Granganole. I like running two of this card because sometimes, you know, one is just not enough, and it allows you to be able to make the two Cartesias useful, and especially since you can add Cartesia back as long as the fusion monster is sent to the grave that turn. So having two Granganole is useful to be able to send different things to the grave, whether it be your extra deck Albion or the Shrouded Dragon or Gimmick Puppet, whatever you need to see send. It was he was really good. Ryan Braum, I think I only actually summoned this guy one time in my feature match against Cabal. That was the only time I summoned that, and that was a very awkward hand that I had where I had to summon this guy. But I felt that it would be good going against Pearly, but Kamal is a really good player, and I did not know the Pearly matchup very well. So my inexperience, I think, cost me the opportunity to make top 16. Just my inexperience of knowing the Pearly deck. If I knew what I know now, I feel like I would have definitely won that matchup. But congrats to Kamal. He's a great player, and he deserved his top 8 finish. So one Sanctifier, you know, for securing the Gimmick Puppet lock. He was MVP, putting in a ton of work. Can't say enough about this guy. Titanic Clad, you know, the special Quim. Also the beat over stuff. If you need to get over monsters that are, you know, well over 3,000 attack, you know, you send Albion the Shrouded Dragon or some other monsters in the main deck to the grave that has over 2,500 attack. Or you can also use Albaz and any of your opponent's monsters that has over 2,500 attack and fusion it to them, and then of course this guy gains attack equal to the total levels of the monsters used for his fusion summon. So he was really good. Two Mirror Jade, it's Mirror Jade, great card. I didn't go into it a heck of a lot, but I mean I did go into it some. I probably could cut one out, but I feel safe keeping two. I honestly don't think I went into two at all this whole weekend. Maybe once or twice, but it definitely wasn't much. Masquerade, put in a little bit of work, didn't really need it much. I almost wanted to cut the card, but I feel like in certain situations, whether it be time or depending on the deck you're playing, Masquerade can be good. So I wish I would have went into this game 3 of my Pearly matchup, just special summon this guy and put some more monsters out in the field in defense mode and just kind of, you know, hold my opponent off with that. But yeah. One Quartus for special summoning off of Granganole. Dragoon. Dragoon was absolutely MVP. I mean, I won so many games off of Dragoon this weekend. Just not being able to be targeted, destroyed by card effects, and then the Omni Negate. There was one game I actually got him up to 6,000 attack against a Tier Element player, Tier Element Cashier player, and it was he was really great the whole weekend. Also my favorite card too, love Dragoon. One Lulawilla for special summon Cartesia off of Nadir, and then one Guardian Chimera. I summoned this guy maybe 2 or 3 times, but he was good when I resolved him as well. And I'll quickly go through the side deck here. Side deck, we ran 3 Nib. I feel like this was a great call. This won me a couple games throughout the weekend where my opponent overextended, and I capitalized off of it and nibbed them. One Harpies, really good to search off thrust or just hard draw. Then I also run some going second cards such as Dark Hole, Raigeki. These really didn't do much for me this weekend. I probably consider cutting them moving forward. I probably just take my main deck count down a bit and just turn these into Dark Ruler No Mores. Evenly matched, put in some work for me this weekend. Just a good card, blowout card. There Can Be Only One, really good card as well. Came up maybe 1 or 2 times, but ultimately I really didn't need it for most of my matchups. I was able to secure the win without it. And then Grizel Prison, really great card. I wish that I would have saw this also in my my feature match against Kamal, but unfortunately I did not see it. So you got to draw cards, and I didn't draw these cards. It would have been great. Pretty much would have been an auto win, but that's Yugioh. Luck of the draw. But yeah, I'll got my prize card here, another Verse Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Got my 2023 World Championship qualifier mat for getting top 64. And then the sleeves for just making it. So it was overall it was a really great event. I really enjoyed the event. My son also did Dragon Duels. He got top 16 in Dragon Duels playing Dino. So I'm overall I felt like the weekend was really good. Son, you want to come over here and just say hey to everybody?
What's good, guys? You know me. I was gonna do a deck profile, but honestly, Dino's going second is not the best because of how inconsistent and you draw 2 cards on to play. But I'm pretty happy how I did, how my dad did. So
yeah.
Yeah,
it was a good event. We got a lot of prizes. Like I said, I'm gonna definitely hold on to this prize card here. It's not an easy task to make top 32. My first time ever making top 32 at Nats or top 64 even. So all in all, I'm just extremely happy to have the opportunity and to play one of the decks that I really love playing. I'm really comfortable with playing Branded Despia. There's a few things I would change in my deck moving forward that I'll change and modify accordingly. But overall, had a good time. Glad you guys tuned in for the deck profile, and I'll see you in the next video.
See you next video.
Peace.